Okay, so worksheet 2, we're going to do one from each section. And then I've also included the notes and the lecture side. So on the lecture side, when you go to Content Library, Lecture 2, you'll see the decimal concepts and everything listed. I will be adding the fractional concepts after this video. Okay, so one problem or one question from this first section, and you'll probably hear my puppies whining in the background, but we'll ignore them. So number 4. So that is, we have to count out the place values. Now you may use your place value chart to help you, but it's best if you memorize them because on the test and final, you'll need to have those memorized. So here's the tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So then we'd write the name 10,000ths. Now technically there's supposed to be that hyphen in between them, but I won't mark it wrong. But what I will mark wrong is if you don't include, oops, that THS. Trying to get the highlighter going. Highlighter gonna work? Highlighter is not gonna work. So the THS, that needs to be included. All right, let's look at one from the next section. We've already seen a rounding, but it doesn't hurt to revisit it. So let's do, I'm gonna pick evens for this. So that way, because you already have the answers to the odds. Let's look at number 12. So 12 has the 8 underlined. We're gonna look behind it, that's 9. 9 tells us to round up. So we're gonna round the 8 up by one number. So that's gonna become 699. And then everything after that place value that's underlined is gonna become zeros. So we'll look at an addition this time. So when we're adding, we need to line up the decimals. That's the squeaky toy. Okay, so let's take number 16. 430 plus 163.5. So 430 doesn't have a decimal point. We need to put that decimal point at the end and then line up your decimal points vertically. So they have to be on top of each other. Then you can add them. If you want to put a 0 as a placeholder, you can. For subtraction, you have to add a 0 as a placeholder. 5 plus nothing is 5. Bring the decimal point straight down. 0 and 3 is 3. 3 and 6 is 9. 4 and 1 is 5. So 593.5. Okay, let's look at one subtraction. They're all very similar. All right, let's look at 23 for this. We're going to break the evens trend. Take the first number, 113.6 minus 13.52. Now I have to add a 0 as a placeholder. And that is so that the numbers line up and I can borrow. Because nothing minus 2, well, you can't do that. That'll be negative. We don't want to deal with negatives yet. So we're going to borrow from the 6. Now we have 10 minus 2, so that's 8. 5 minus 5 is 0. Bring the decimal point straight down, just like in addition. 3 and 3 is 6. 1 and 1. Oh, dang it. We're supposed to be subtracting. Okay, 3 minus 3 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring down the 1. So 100.08. Okay, evaluating expressions. I'm really getting tired of only writing in one color, but we'll go through it. We'll power through. Okay, so let's look at number 26. Now remember, with PEMDAS, order of operations, when we're evaluating, we have to go left to right. So we're just going to hack away at this 2 at a time, go left to right. So 3 minus 1.7, have to add a decimal and a 0, and that's going to give me 1.3. And then I'm going to add the 3.77, line up the decimals, and I get 5.07. And then subtract the 0.2. 7 comes down because 7 minus 0 is 7. 0 minus 2 can't do, so borrow, and we get 4.87. Let's do multiplication, and we'll do 36. So for 36, we have 10.9 times 10.2. So 9 times 2 is 18. Notice I'm multiplying as if the decimal points were not there. And then 2 times 0 is 1, or 2 times 0 is 0, but carry the 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And then placeholder, just like whole numbers. 0, 0, 0. This time 2 placeholders, because we're done with 2 place values. 1 times 9 is 9, 1 times 0, and then 1 times 1. Add them all together, and we get 11118. Count the total decimal places, 1, 2, and we get 111.18. All right, let's look at a division. So we're gonna do 40. So first one goes inside the long division, second one goes outside. Anytime you have a decimal point on the outside, you have to move it to the end of the number. So this is going to become 15. And then however many times you move it on the outside, that's how many times you move the decimal place on the inside. So this is going to become 49.4. I'm going to write it to the side more so that way I have room. So we take 15 into 4, can't work. 15 into 49, that's 3. 3 times 15 is 45. Multiply, subtract, bring down. So then 15 into 44. First thing I want to do is bring the decimal point straight up. That's only going to happen twice. So 30, subtract 1, 4. Now we're going to add a 0 so we can keep going. 140 divided by 15. Let's take a guess and say it's 8 and see if we're close. So that is 120. Nope. So we'll do 9 instead. So it's okay to do multiplication off to the side if you need to. 45, and then carry 9 plus 4 is 13. So 135. Oops. Subtract. That's 5, 0, bring it down. So that's going to be 3 again. So that's 45. Oh, so it's going to keep repeating. This can be repeating decimal. So we're going to put a 3 over that and call it good. Once we see a pattern, we don't have to add any more zeros. Okay, so we have just 2 more sections. Let's look at 48. So we have 800 million, 70, and 7,500,000. So that and tells me where to put the decimal. So I'm going to write the front part in front of the decimal. So 800 million, 70. And then 7,500 thousandths. So I'm going to count out to the 100,000s place. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. That's where 75 needs to end. And then the rest is going to be filled with zeros. Okay, so 54 was already done and it's uploaded in the discussions. So let's look at 53. Jimmy wants to buy a microscope for $48.43. He gives the cashier $50. What does this change? Our directions tell us to write an expression. So we give the $50 to the cashier, and the microscope he's buying costs $48.43. So you're going to subtract $48.43 from it. That's our expression. So now let's work it out. 50, need a decimal because there's 0 cents. Make that a little bit cleaner. So subtract, that's 7. Let's borrow from the 5. So now it's 7, 5, decimal point 1, 0. So his change is $1.57. So I'm going to write that in a complete sentence as our directions ask. His change is $1.57.